Okay, guys, welcome to the 1400 match. Here we have zukuil versus Raaka. Um, or maybe it's Raaka. I don't know. I don't know Scandinavian languages. Okay. All right. So zukuil. Here we have. I think he's been featured before. Advanced walls is trash. Yeet your troops now. So he's currently 1328, but he's been high 1300s before. Solid player, definitely. He has some great wins under his belt. And then Raaka, sort of the dominant standard and high funds player for the last few months, with occasional losses to some of the old ultra good players. But he's definitely one like the ultra good player that's has the most games. That's kind of been his. Um, that's kind of what he's been up to lately. Currently a 1482 rating, but he's passed 1500 before. So yeah, let's see how this goes. So the map is Lacrimosa. Lacrimosa is a pretty interesting map. It's mixed base and also no airport. So no airport changes things for a lot of COs, and no airport is also pretty uncommon. So we'll looks like they end up going with Olaf here. Um, so it makes sense. There's quite a lot of planes. Olaf is a great CO. I'm not exactly sure what the tier list or what the tier list they picked into was, but like Hawk or Sensei or Eagle might have also been picks. But yeah, with this many planes, Olaf looks like a pretty solid choice. And of course, like as long as you have some sort of answer for Hawk in hyphens, um, yeah, Eagle, sorry, fucking Olaf, Olaf is probably a pretty good choice. Okay, so yeah, it's also four bases, which is cool. So let's see some moves. So far everything is pretty standard. I'll be interested. Sometimes you see this infantry capture here before going to the comm tower. Sometimes you see immediate comm tower. I like to be greedy and go for this city first, usually. Okay, Reika's being greedy. Okay, and Zukiel is also greedy and goes for that city. Again, it's like no point in not like mirroring is always an option in a ditto. Okay, so here's the first kind of interruption choice of the match. Rika has the option of um, delaying this capture by smacking into it with a tank or an artillery, maybe delaying a city of his own in the meantime. So that's something to consider. I think it's probably not a good idea to interrupt that. We'll see what happens. Okay, decides to interrupt. The reason I thought that is I think there's like the thing is you're delaying your own city while you're delaying their city. So what are you really accomplishing? I guess you're accomplishing trading infantry for infantry. But that's kind of like a small thing to decide your actions over. Okay, actually this infantry just dies, so that's not a great start in my opinion. So there's a lot of details in this map about like are you trading are you allowing to them to capture this city while you capture it on the other side? Are you denying it on one side while you capture it on your side? There's a lot of different situations. Like this city can be denied and its partner here. You can deny this city with this artillery, like Reika's doing here. There's a lot of different. This is one of the reasons I like this maps is you can form a lot of different game plans based on denying or allowing capture of certain cities. So Zukio actually going very artillery heavy early on with 5 artillery on day 6, which is pretty crazy. Reika only has 3 right now, but it's his turn, so he might build more. So Reika, both look like they're about even in the fight for the center. Okay, so Reika actually builds a recon to interrupt this capture, which is pretty interesting. The nice thing about that is like it's a unit that you can usually be happy sacking, and it's like because if it delays the income for the capture for 2 or more turns, then it's paid for itself. Looks like actually Reika has the advantage in income. The difference is this city, which is 1, denying this city, and I can't find the third. So it's 1, 2. Oh, and 3. So Zukia hasn't captured this yet, and actually Reika is actively working on preventing its capture, which is pretty difficult. It's hard to, I can tell you, I don't see this one denied too often. So Zukio finds a nice wall break here. Looks pretty safe, although there is tank trap ideas. So we'll see what happens. Okay, and a rocket from Zukio. Kind of interesting. I don't know where it's gonna go. Okay, so no tank trap choice, but that's just as well. The Neo tank can untrap it, or Artie can untrap it. There's options. Okay, so this is like a classic move when you're trying to capture a city that's already locked, is you start the capture, point an arty at that arty, and then make them choose between shooting your artillery and allowing the capture, um, or uh, you know, interrupting the capture and getting your artillery first shot by another artillery. Or I guess you could just retreat. So okay, so then Reika actually decides to hit the artillery. Okay, not quite enough juice to hit the stuff there, but okay. Oh, I see. That. Oh, okay, of course. Okay, so Reika says, no, no, I'm gonna hit the artillery and the capture, which you can sometimes do if they mess up. So yeah, Reika looking in a very good spot, I would say. It looks like he's up a little bit in army value, and it has like a little bit of an income lead, 2 cities. And the income is up, advantage is up to how many cities? Wow. Okay, so Reika's actually about to get way ahead. So yeah, Reika now up to 52K to 44K. So that's like this. That's pretty substantial. So one thing about this map, just so you guys aren't freaking out, there's a lab here, and there's also a lab in this corner. So you can't just take the lab and win. That you have to capture the other lab too. Which this lab is pretty hard to capture unless you're like really dedicated. It can happen though. It's hard to do. So Zukio is like really taking the center control. Um, Looks like it's gonna be hard for Reika to like one of the great things about having center control on this map is you can suddenly swing your entire army one way or the other, and then have tempo when taking down a base. So your opponent can sometimes like respond quickly and like counter hit somewhere else, somewhere that your army is not. Um, but like you get to decide when and where that happens. So you can choose a time, or you can try to choose a time that is most beneficial to you. You get the driver's seat. You get the steering wheel. Okay, so now Zukio is like kind of posing in a few different ways. You could smack this base, it's just one base, or you could crash down on this big giant area here. So it's pretty scary looking. Zukio actually pretty close to unit cap. Yeah, this looks a little bit dead, but I'm not sure. I guess there's so many indirects pointing at it that you can't really engage without getting totally annihilated. So this is a nice little formation here. Like no end caps that you can hit between, and then the artillery out front so that the artillery can't get close enough to hit the rocket. It's pretty cool. Okay, here's a big initiation from Zukio. Looks like it's going to be some sacks in order to get Blizzard. I mean, Winter Fury. Okay, and then here comes the Winter Fury. Oh, and a hit on the rocket really hurts. Yeah, interesting. So Zukio actually attacks right when he's hit unit cap, which is a really great time to attack because, especially if you have the unit count lead, um, because now like that unit count lead stays there. You don't stall out till you both hit 50. You start fighting while you still have the unit cap. While you're still have a unit advantage. Okay. So a bit of pretty good fighting back here, but I think this attack is pretty devastating for Zukio. Looks like army value wise, they are very slightly in Reika's favor, but Zukio has the turn to make, so we'll see what happens. I think the main thing I'm noticing. Okay, never mind. I stopped noticing it. This attack up here is pretty nice. Rake is about to lose, looks like 3 properties, and looks like he'll flip 2. Also, this push down through the center here puts a lot of pressure on this one base while he's capturing here. So that's all really great stuff by Raaka, finding ways to get back in it. And then another Winter Fury. That is just, oh, that is really tough. So now Raaka is pretty darn far behind. Oh, I see. The Winter Fury brought him back into it. So yeah, still behind in unit value. We'll see. So I know I talked to Raaka during or after the game, and yeah, he was pretty upset about the big wall break Super CO power that Zukio made on him to like start this exchange. Though I don't know if upset's the right word, but like he just like pointed it out as an error, which yeah would have been better if that hadn't happened. Okay, and Reika resigns here. So if we just kind of look across the board, this Neo Tank isn't really doing anything. Looks like he'll get 1 property back, but he's really far behind in income. Looks like he'll get that property back, that property back. Okay, so income-wise, he's not immediately losing. That guy is going to be really annoying to deal with. Dealing with his Neo Tank is going to be hard. This Neo Tank, you don't have an answer. This guy's shelling you whenever you hit his stuff. 2 Neo Tanks here that aren't accounted for. And like all of Reika's Neo Tanks are way up here. So yeah, it's just a really bad look for Raaka. Let's just go back to like the crucial turn. Oh, wait, that's too far back. This right here. So I mean it's hard to tell that like this is sackable. So Zukio has more than 3 stars of power and he does sack, and that's 2.5. And then a little bit of clearing. And then Neo on Neo. And now he has Winter Fury. And now you're in serious shit. So, so yeah, it's tough stuff. So yeah, GG's to both of those guys. It was really interesting. One of the few times that Raaka has lost to somebody that's like lower rated. But yeah, it's like it was such a volatile moment. Like anybody can slip like that. It's really hard to account for every possible attacking option when building a wall. That's just like it's just a fact of life. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the 1500.